Okay, quick review, solving missing parts of triangles using right triangle trigonometry. Okay, SOHCAHTOA, right? SOHCAHTOA. The sine of an angle.
Opposite over hypotenuse.
Opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle, adjacent over hypotenuse. The tangent of an angle, opposite over adjacent. Okay, just a quick review. Now, I want to do this because I'm a little concerned after seeing all of our scores on how we're doing on this. Some of you got it down, some of you are struggling a little bit. These problems should go pretty fast. Okay, I want you to get to that point. Okay, on this one, pay close attention. Okay, you only know one side and you know two angles. Okay, you should be able to solve the rest fairly simple. The missing angle is easy because all three angles add up to 180. So 90 plus 25 is 115. 180 minus 115, what's angle B? 65 degrees. Okay? So angle B equals 65 degrees. So we're good with that. Right? Okay. We still have to solve for x and r. Can you use Pythagorean's theorem to solve for x and r?
No.
Nope, because you only know one side of the triangle. If you knew two sides of the triangle, you could use Pythagorean's theorem to figure out the third side, but you only know one side of the triangle. So you cannot use Pythagorean's theorem on this right triangle. So you have to set up a trig equation using sine, cosine, or tangent. Okay? Personally, since the 25 is written right here, I'm going to go ahead and use the 25. All right? Riata, can you give me one of your trig equations that you set up to help you solve for x or r?
Sin 25.
Sine. Sine 25
equals 16 over r.
Perfect, good job. Okay? The sine of 25 equals 16 over r. Okay, because the sine of an angle is always equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay? Now, this one does kind of stink just a little bit because where is the variable? On the bottom. Okay? What do you do to solve for a variable when it's sitting here in the bottom side of a fraction? Alyssa. Multiply both sides by that variable because then you don't have fractions anymore. Okay? When you take r times the sine of 25, you just write r times the sine of 25. What's 16 over r times r equal? 16. Okay? So now I have r times the sine of 25 equals 16. Madison, what's our last step that we need to do in order to solve for r? Get r by itself, basically.
You divide
Both sides by?
Sine of 25.
Sine of 25.
Kids out what they say that wrong.
Okay? So, nice try. Divide both sides by the sine of 25 because r times the sine of 25 divided by the sine of 25 is simply just r. Okay? Now I need a little calculator help. 16 divided by sine 25.
37 over 8. Or 37.8.
37.8.
37.9.
Which one is it?
37.8.
It depends if you round or not, I'm guessing.
0.9.
0.8.
If it goes 8 followed by a 5, the 5 makes the 8 go up to a 9.
5 or greater, add one more.
Great, Noah. Okay? So r equals 37.9. Now, very good. Now that you know r is 37.9, if you wanted to, you could use Pythagorean's theorem, but you'd be using a rounded answer. You'd have to square it. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's not as accurate, it's not as perfect, okay? So we're not going to use Pythagorean's theorem to help us solve for x. Let's set up a different trig equation to help us solve for x. Angela, what do you think?
I did
She said tangent of 25 degrees equals 16 over x. What do you guys think of that setup?
I agree.
Okay with it? Okay?
We'll
Okay.
do tan 65.
Equals
It'd be adjacent to 16 over.
opposite over adjacent, but
I spelled
16.
I spelled it wrong.
okay. If you use the 65, and actually make it a little bit easier to do it that way, but if you use the 65, you could say the tangent of 65 equals x over 16. That would work. Okay? But she set it up this way. We'll solve this one just like we did this one, right? So Dalton, what do?
You multiply by x,
Multiply by x.
and then those cross out.
So x times the tangent of 25 equals 16.
And then, then you divide by tangent 25.
Divide by tangent 25, and I'll just take a little bit of help from you guys.
Hit it. 16 divided by 10, 25, 34.3. 34.3.
34.3. Okay? So, angle B was 65. Side R was 37.9. Side X was 34.3. Side R should be the biggest side, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's the hypotenuse, so our answers seem to make a little bit of sense in that regard. Okay? Alright, so, good. Any questions on this triangle? Okay, next triangle. A little different. I gave you two sides. You only know it has a 90-degree angle in it. So we're missing two angles, and we're missing one side. Okay? Carson.
We did sine of A equals 4 over 9.
Okay? So Carson set up an equation that he can use to solve for what? What will he be solving for here? Angle A, right? He'll be solving for angle A. Now, this is different than this one.
Yes.
On this one, we knew all of our angles. We had an easy way to get all of our angles. There was enough given to us. Here, this one, we don't know our acute angles, A and B. If you have to solve for angles, what do you use, Chris?
Inverse.
Use the inverse.
Inverses.
On
Okay,
Hold line.
good. So A will equal the inverse sine of 4/9.
Oh, that's
And to the nearest tenth for me, please, anybody?
I think it's 26.3, but I don't know. We can do it.
26.4.
26.4.
I'm at.
We gotta work on our rounding. Okay. A is 26.4 degrees. Okay. What do you have questions there? I heard a lot of people discussing not knowing how to do this. I'd rather you ask me right now as opposed to having to do this later. Anytime you solve for an angle, you will do inverse. What if I would have set up this equation? Cosine of B equals 4 over 9.
You still do the inverse,
It's just inverse cosine, right?
You have to be in radian mode.
Okay?
degree mode.
Degree.
You want to be in degree mode because we want to get our answer in degrees. We're not in advanced math or calculus, so. Okay? Alright. So angle A is 26.4 degrees. Let's not think too hard. Lindsay, how would we get angle B?
You would take cosine B equals 4 over 9.
Oh, well, I guess she wants to do it that way. That's fine. Okay? We can do it that way, although if we already have angle A,
Add it.
we could just add it to 90 and then subtract that from 180, right?
Okay.
But what Lindsay said was fine. Okay?
No, we did this.
She said cosine of B equals 4 over 9, and therefore then B would equal the inverse cosine of 4 over 9. And you get
63.6.
63.6 degrees. Okay, so there's angle A, here's angle B. Only thing left would be x.
Oh.
Okay? How do you think we're going to solve for x?
Pythagorean.
I'd use Pythagorean's theorem, it'd be much faster.
We probably should have done that.
X squared plus 4 squared equals 9 squared. 4 squared,
16.
9 squared.
81.
81.
Subtract them.
Not here.
65.
65.
65.
Square root.
8.1.
What if I said simplest radical form?
Just keep it as that. Wait, no, you can break it down
Break
to
it.
5,
10. No, I don't know how to break that.
5 and 13.
Yep.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So actually, square root of 65. Or, as somebody said, 8.1, I believe. Okay? Alright, any questions on those two? Feel like you got a pretty decent idea? Okay? For the purposes of uploading.